future belongs to service providers who innovate without limits. That's why the fastest growing service providers are choosing the NetSapiens platform. Visit netsapiens.com.
Hey everybody, it's Doug Green and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News, and I'm very pleased to have with me today Todd Fisher of CTM. Todd, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So the headline is CTM closes the attribution gap on AI's fastest growing ad channel. We're going to talk about that and unpack that in just a second. But Todd, first of all, what is CTM?
Yeah, CTM is a call tracking and attribution platform for intent-based advertising. Also great for sales teams to understand the performance of their team.
So let's break this down. I have a contact center, and I also have done a bit of advertising. Is that what's happened in the scenario?
That's right.
And you're going to give me some visibility into what's happening?
Yeah, CTM is going to help you understand your ads. So if you are, let's say you're a business that's selling goods and services that are often transacted over the phone. So usually these are higher ticket value items, or your incoming lead source is over the phone. Then it becomes increasingly important for you to understand whether or not those phone calls that you're receiving are of value, and what channel, where did you put your money, and did you put your money in a place that was worth it, right? Are you getting a good return on your investment? Yeah, because that way, yeah.
Keep on going. Yeah, Todd, tell me more.
So I think that the bottom line here is that most people are focused on the wrong thing when it comes to measuring their ads. They're not focused on whether or not this was the person who called you had the intent to buy, right? Did that ad solicit somebody to actually want your service? And so when you look at what OpenAI is doing on the ad space, and why I think that's a really interesting place for advertisers to focus their dollars, is because you are allowing the AI to find out that you actually had the intent to purchase. And then this way, when you interact with the ad, the likelihood of you being a qualified buyer is much higher. So you also want to be able to answer the same question, though, once you engage with that lead, right? So you have somebody make that phone call. Now they're talking to you. You want to sort of separate from the equation whether or not the person is going to buy your product, and ask, did they want to buy your product? Because if they wanted to buy your product, everything else that occurs is on you, not the source of the ad, right? The ad was probably great because the person wanted to buy your goods, right? Now, if they can't buy what you're selling because of some other aspect of what you're selling, then you need to fine tune your ads, right? But if they choose not to buy from you, then perhaps it's something you need to look internally on. And that's another part of what CTM allows you to do, which is look at the performance of the sales folks on the phone to help figure out, did they do anything that could have been improved, right? And so our system really is looking at both sides of the equation. We're heavily focused on that advertising side and performance side of was the person, did they have the intent to buy? I think that is the number one metric for everyone to be looking at.
Stay with me for a second. You run an ad.
Right.
Now the response is specifically, I respond to the ad by making a call to a contact center.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Good. Yeah. And now,
or it could just be a guy in a truck, right? I mean, you might be calling who knows what business, right? But any business where they thrive on phone calls, right? So it could be they have a huge call center. They could have a distributed set of call centers. They could even just be a mom and pop shop with one guy driving a truck, right? The spectrum is very wide, right?
Okay.
Everyone's got to start somewhere.
So yeah, let's stay with that because that's such a huge market. So
Right.
what springs to mind, for example, are all the people that run around in a van all day doing HVAC, air conditioning and heating, and a
Yeah.
lot of that is really totally mom and pop.
Yeah.
Literally between jobs, an individual gets a call. Hi, I'm Doug. My air conditioning's not working. Okay, and I saw your ad on TV
Yep.
this morning, right? So
Yep.
now what happens? So Todd's taking the call. Yeah, I can come over. I can fix your air conditioning. What's happening in the background with regard to CTM?
Right. So what CTM has done is we have a product we call Ask AI, right? For better or
Right,
worse, very simple name, but essentially what it is you can instruct the AI to ask simple questions about, actually, they can be very complex questions about that conversation, right? And so you can have a series of questions that you may want to ask about whether or not, and you know, anything about this phone call you want. And I think the best question to ask is, did the person calling you have the intent to buy? Because
right.
that question alone will answer whether or not you had a good ad. Now,
Yeah,
there's a lot of nuance in there. You can thread all kinds of different nuanced questions layered on top, right? Where they qualified for this type of purchase, where they qualified with, did they have the right health insurance, policy that we accept, right? Is it,
right.
you know, HMO, PPO, whatever, right? Like you can get really detailed, right, about what was the aspect of that potential buyer. But a lot of that ends up falling on the sales side of the organization, which is also extremely interesting to know. And you can really get a good picture of, what was the performance of our sales team? What was the performance of our ads this way? In a way that, you could never do with manual labor, right? No human in their right
Right.
mind would spend, that many hours of day listening to that many phone calls to answer, you know, 6 or 7 really, really valuable questions about a phone conversation.
So now you brought in another huge market, right? So the private practice doctor, the private practice dentist,
Yeah.
something of this kind. The
Yes.
receptionist is receiving the call, or maybe you have a call service,
Yep.
and
Hospitals
you
usually have a call center. Yeah.
exactly. So now I'm trying to book. I saw an advertisement for your dental practice. I need dental work. Um, it
But
turns out,
insurance starts to
though,
matter, right? And
right,
insurance starts to matter. Are
I have the
you?
wrong insurance.
Yes. Yes.
Now you're giving me visibility that possibly the receptionist wouldn't necessarily give me, right? That we got the phone call, but
Correct.
some of those ads are landing in places where the insurance we accept isn't prevalent.
Correct.
That might be something you get.
Yeah.
Um,
So
the HVAC guy might get, yeah, uh, we're getting goofy calls. We're not getting people that are actually serious about getting a new air conditioning.
yeah, and I think the big kind of takeaway here
Hmm.
is efficiency, right?
Okay.
So if you look back, like when you're running ads and you're running blindly, right, and you're just measuring response rates, and you're just measuring like counting up calls and looking at duration of calls, right? You are throwing money in different ways inefficiently, right? So by understanding if somebody had the intent to buy, you are able to increase the efficiency of your ad spend, right? Because in theory, you can maximize the number of inbound leads that are actually interested in purchasing your stuff, right? And this is an industry agnostic idea, right? Measuring the intent and willingness of somebody to want to purchase your goods and services is universal across all industries.
But Todd, this seems to be really sophisticated stuff. I mean, this is the type of stuff that you mentioned healthcare. I would imagine like a Kaiser Permanente, a
Yeah.
healthcare giant might have. But you're suggesting that this would be accessible to uh, three physicians that are in private practice together. They could
Correct.
actually use this.
Easily, yes. And the thing to keep in mind is this is really where you hear AI is going to transform everything, right?
Right.
I saw I don't know if this is too tangential here, but I saw this guy explaining cotton, right? The fact that we all have access to cotton today is because somebody invented a machine that allows us to efficiently get the cotton seeds out of the cotton, right? It's a
Right.
really hard process, right? But this novel invention basically made cotton prolific. Like, it was available to everyone, to the point where, it resulted in some bad things, but with labor, right? But it also ultimately resulted in everyone having access to this material, this wonderful material that is, you know, I mean, most comfortable sheets ever, right?
Right.
Maybe you'd argue silk is better, but like, cotton is an incredible thing. And so I think with intelligence becoming so widely available, right, to an extreme, these kinds of tools are now possible, and they're accessible to everyone. Um,
Well, that
yeah,
actually is very interesting that we, as we start to finish up our podcast today, that we hear it repeatedly, that AI mimics the Industrial Revolution, might even be bigger. That was the Industrial Revolution, right? To
it
make
was.
cotton and
Yeah,
products
it
like that
was.
available to everybody.
Yeah, yeah. And at the time, probably people didn't understand what was happening, right? They were probably kind of scared, and maybe they were excited, and there were some bad things that came with that, right? But there were also
Right.
so many good things, right?
Which
Uh,
also sounds familiar with AI.
yeah, it sounds
Yeah,
super
good.
similar,
There's
right?
always good and bad.
Yeah,
So,
change. Yeah,
Todd, as we wrap up, I'm interested to know how we might be able to engage CTM. So, to begin with, Uh,
yeah.
do companies talk to you directly, or do they then go through a dealer? How does it work?
That's a great question. Yeah, so you can just come directly to our website, ctm.com. You can also, a lot of advertising agencies, they use our platform, and either resell it or bundle it with their offering. So through a lot of agencies, it's a great way to engage with us. Um, and if you're a Salesforce.com company and you're using Salesforce.com, we're a great integration into that platform. Our phone sits right nicely inside of Salesforce, um, and yeah, it's we're we have a sales team. We dog food all of our uh, uh, product. I guess some people like to say we drink our champagne. I heard that one recently, and I said yes. But yeah, it's very easy to engage with us. We pride ourselves on being accessible and working directly with customers. I do it all the time. It's fun.
Todd, thank you very much indeed. There's so much to talk about. I feel bad that we're cutting it short a little bit, but I hope we get to learn a little bit more about this and come back. I love the
Yeah,
idea though that this is available to someone running around putting rooftop on or something
yeah,
of that kind.
yeah, yeah. I didn't even get to really mention, if the guy driving the truck is, too busy driving the truck, we have a voice AI product, and that could just take the call for him and book the appointments.
So
Um,
you actually it acts as an AI agent booking
yes,
appointments, and then it's giving you
yes,
data.
correct. Yeah, and it hooks into your calendar, can hook into your CRM, and then handle the whole booking process for you.
Todd, I really want to thank you again.
Absolutely, great to meet, and great to chat again, and look forward to maybe doing this again sometime.
Innovate without limits, scale without compromise, and never pay per seat again. Discover why providers choose netsapiens.com.